I said, guys, we didn't come here for no reason.
Hey, my brother, put a smile on your face. Okay? Because Florida State, if we gonna do it then, we do it big. Let's go, baby.
Here's the snap, handoff with a belly dive, and Stevenson's going to try to root his way in. He breaks through. Got the 10, 5, 3, 2 yards. Touchdown FSU. Yes, Riley Stevenson, senior, playing his final game. I thought he was tackled to the line of scrimmage. Root hogging his way, and he broke into daylight, and he scores a touchdown.
If we don't get penalties and we don't get fumbles and we don't get interceptions, we can win the dead-gum ball game.
I said, are you strong? They said, I'm strong if you strong. And I said, we strong then.
What are you doing?
Down to the 50, down the sideline to the 40, down to the 30. He separates. He's to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Florida State.
Let's party, Tallahassee.
He's got PK Sam. Open. He makes the catch. Touchdown, Marshall. Touchdown, PK Sam. 55 seconds left. Sam takes a touchdown catch from Ricketts. 52 yards. 52 yards. Florida State leads 37-34. I see you, PK Sam.
Shot snare, good shot, Knowles win, Michael Snare's triple with no time left. Florida State beats Duke 76-73. The little team that could just did.
Welcome to Double Fries No Slaw. It is Thursday night. We're here with another sort of a preview show. It's not so much a preview show this week as it is a call / question show. Surprising as it may be, there aren't a ton of Jacksonville State beat writers for us to preview this game. But myself, TJ Pittenger, and my co-hosts, Freddie Stevenson and Richie Barnes. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing well, man. No complaints, man. I'm alive and well. Everything good this way.
Hey, we have hope for a potential W this weekend. There won't be many weeks like this. So I'm feeling good.
Definitely excited to try and notch one in the win column. I don't want to look at the rest of the schedule. I don't want to look at anything else that may or may not happen. I just want to go 1-0 this week. We got a caller. We got a question that is asking about, what happens in certain scenarios with, FSU after this weekend. And I do want to answer that when that comes up. But, yeah, I just want to go 1-0 this week, right? I just want to go 1-0 for the first time this year. So, Double Fries No Slaw. We had some good social media interaction with Guthrie's today. Double Fries No Slaw brought to you by Guthrie's, specifically in Tallahassee. But if you are anywhere close, you should go check them out. If you're in Tallahassee, they're at 1818 West Tennessee Street and 2550 North Monroe. Since we started this podcast, I have eaten a lot more fried chicken and a lot more French fries. Because, every time I'm at work, the people some of my buddies at the office kind of know the pie, and they're like, "Oh, let's go get fried chicken." I'm like, "Man, we got to stop doing this." So anyway, if you're anywhere near a Guthrie's, if you're anywhere near a knockoff Guthrie's, like Zaxby's or Raising Cane's or whatever, shoot us a picture and I'll send you a double fries no slaw sticker. But if you're anywhere close to a Guthrie's, go there as opposed to one of those knockoffs. Also, check out our Patreon. We always kind of give priority to Patreons for call-ins, questions, and then we kind of hook you up with some neat swag. We didn't do a reaction show last week. I think we absolutely will do one this week after the Jacksonville State game. I got some takes if that game goes south, and I know we'll be excited about the win that we're going to get on Saturday. So check out our Patreon, patreon.com/doublefriespod. If you're watching this, listening, please retweet, share, rate it 5 stars, whatever platform you're on kind of dictates that. But if you could retweet it, share it, get it out there, that would be great. All right, I'll shut up. Richie, how's it going? Freddie, what's going on, man? What you guys been up to this week?
Shoot, this week, man, just yesterday, I'm kind of mad at myself. I ain't get my picks in for that Lakers game, but I'm gonna make up for it tonight on this Jets game. But other than that, I just been chilling, man. Kind of calmed down a little bit from last week, but my team, hopefully they get us a win this week because last week I was pissed, and that's the understatement.
Yeah, same. And so my company's fiscal year ended September 30th, and if we don't use our vacation days by the end of the year, we lose them. So I just took the last week off from work. I had to go back yesterday. Man, it's brutal going back to work after 6-7 days off after that loss and everything. Just on a bender, I had the sweats and the shakes at work, man. But that's okay. We're back to real life now, and I'm actually still looking forward to this season. As bad as this season has started, I think there's some hope. It's bleak, but I'm excited to keep talking about it and keep bringing everyone the content that we deliver.
I will say, if you can find you some hobbies that do not rely – let me back up. When I was younger and more mature, I'm still as immature, but I wasn't as diversified. And what I mean by that is like what Florida State did every week totally made or ruined – like my entire next week. I mean, it would take me until like Thursday or Friday to finally get out of that. And then, the next week would come around. And I mean, Florida State won a lot more games than they lost. So it really wasn't a bad strategy. But what I've learned to do is diversify. So my Lightning just won the Stanley Cup. My Lakers are 3 games away from winning the NBA Finals. The Rays are in the second round of the playoffs against the Yankees as the 1 seed. And so as bad as the Knowles are, I mean, at least I have some.
Tampa Bay's 2-1. I mean,
I don't care about
3-1 after this week.
No, I don't care about that. Jameis has thrown no interceptions this year, so like, man, we're on fire in 20. So like, if you could just diversify, like, find a couple, like, just be a bandwagon fan. Like, so these are all my teams. Like, I'm not a bandwagon, but like, just find a bandwagon team to hitch to. Like, cheer for somebody else in another sport, and it'll make you feel better. But anyway, outside of that. Man, I messaged – I'll give him a shout-out right now. I messaged our winner of the Pick'em, and he didn't get back with me. He didn't get back with me on, like, joining the show. He says he can't – well, actually, he did. He said, I can't join the show. Can I get a shirt or a bottle of Fireball or something like that? Unfortunately, being the guest picker is the Actually, I have an unopened bottle of Fireball in my cabinet. If you want that, bro, you can have it. You just got to pay for the shipping. So, so I think we're going to get, if he joins or not, I think we're going to get Ed on to do our picks for this week. But I guess we're waiting on Ed to come on. Before we get to that, Richie, we got a little bit of news. Actually, Ed just joined the chat. Of course, he does it right now as I was trying to transition off of him. So, Richie, we've got Ed. Ed won the Pick'em last week. Ed's not a Patreon, but he does help out a lot behind the show. So since my guy Caleb that won it couldn't come on, Ed is going to come on. Ed, it sounds like your audio is connected. Your video hasn't, but if you're still laying in the pool without a shirt on, don't turn your video on. Leave it off for us. But Ed, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. How's it going, fellas?
Okay.
What's up, Ed?
Not
Doing
much,
well.
man. I've got my shirt on, I promise.
Thank God. Shout out Brian for putting Ed completely on blast in the group chat earlier.
I couldn't even defend myself.
Had you just recently posted that photo on like Twitter or something, or did he find where did he find that?
No,
Was it old?
No, for the love of God, that's never ending up on Twitter. He happens to be friends with me on Facebook, so
I was gonna say when we're up 37-3 in the fourth quarter, I'm gonna tweet it and say mood watching this FSU game. Richie, and I know you got a few things going on tonight. We really appreciate you for coming on, as well as all the help you kind of provide us off the air. We try and give you as many shout outs as we can when you're not on here live, but since you are on here live, I wanted to say thank you one more time to your face, because we certainly appreciate all that you do for us.
I'm glad to be part of the team, guys.
Absolutely. Well, we're glad you're part of the team as well. Richie, let's get to our picks from last week. Can you recap quickly what we did last week, and then we'll jump into this week's picks?
Yeah, so Ed got 4 of the 5 right, so he's sitting atop the leaderboard there. I do have a question for you, Ed. The tiebreaker, and I don't pick this, CBS picks the tiebreaker, but they went the Florida State over/under. You went with the Vegas line 57. Was that intentional?
No, that was completely random.
Okay. All right. I went with the 57 as well, and I went it as the Vegas line. So, but I didn't pick nearly as many games right as you did. So doesn't matter.
Miami
maybe next week, maybe this week. You never know.
Miami almost took care of that by themselves.
They tried. They could have if they wanted to. But
good guys.
Me and TJ both got 2 of the 5 right. Which ones did I got Auburn and Florida both right. TJ got Auburn and Pitt right. And Freddie forgot to log him again this week, so I don't have his right in front of me, but he's got it done this week. So next week we will have Freddie's picks as well. But do you remember what you had last week
for Auburn and Florida?
No. So let's go through them real quick. You had Auburn was favored by 7.5. Do you remember what side you were on? Because me and all of us got Auburn on that one.
I thought I took under.
You took Kentucky?
Yeah.
Okay. So you would have got that one wrong. Florida was favored by 14.5. I'm pretty sure we all picked Florida to cover, except TJ, because he did it because of his heart.
I got that one wrong, yeah.
What was the next one here? We had Georgia Tech. They were 7.5 point favorites over Syracuse, lost by 17. That'll hurt your heart.
I thought we all took Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
I think we did, yeah. TJ took Pitt. I took Louisville. Ed had Pitt. Pitt covered. They were favored by 2.5 and won by 3. That's a Vegas line for you. Yeah, my goodness. I think we all took Florida State to cover against Miami and that. All right, we'll go on to this week from there. But yeah, shout out to Ed. He got 4 to 5, right? I'll tell you, if you're betting the same money every week, you did pretty well last week, man.
We all convinced ourselves that Georgia Tech was a lot better than they really are, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so that cost us with that Florida State Miami.
Yeah, seeing that Georgia Tech Syracuse score, man, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a long season.
Yikes, worse than Syracuse. That's rough.
Yeah. Oh man. So we hopping into this week's picks, TJ?
Let's get it.
All right. Have y'all made them on CBS yet?
I made mine.
Yes.
I made mine.
All right, cool. And I know a couple of guys I know have as well. So we should have a pretty good pool this week. The first one, noon kickoff on ESPN, South Carolina. They're getting 18.5 against Florida. That's a big number in a conference game. We chatted about this one a little bit in the group chat earlier, but I've given it some thought. I'm going to go with South Carolina here, probably against my better judgment. 77% of the bets are on Florida. Just give me South Carolina. It looks a little fishy to me. How about you, Ed, our last week's winner?
So South Carolina upset Georgia last season, so you never know. And I want to give a shout out to my brother. He's actually a band member on the Carolina band at South Carolina. And his mom is actually a alum at UF, so they'll both be at the game this weekend. Of course, he'll be performing. But in spite of all that, I do think that Dan Mullen rolls and totally blows South Carolina out.
All right. What about you, Freddie?
I'm going to take South Carolina plus 18.
All right. We have the must-chant believers. Me and Freddie believe in defense, so Florida's covering probably. So what about you, TJ?
I got Florida. I think South Carolina will have a better defense than Ole Miss, but a worse offense. And the only way that South Carolina covers this, if it's kind of like a weird backdoor thing, Florida will blow them out of the water, in my opinion.
All right. So the next game we have, it's also on noon on the ACC network. So in the 600s, if you're on DirecTV, but 3-0 top 25 Pitt Panthers, they are giving 14.5 to NC State. Too many points. Give me the Wolfpack.
I think I took Pitt on this one. I think so, yeah. I'm going to take Pitt. Yeah, I like that.
All right, Ed.
I'm going to roll with Pitt as well. I mean, they're going stronger now. They look like a solid team this season. So give me Pitt.
I can't remember who I picked, and so I'm looking real because I did this last week too, and I just don't want to get it wrong. So I'm looking who I picked real quick. I took Pitt as well. So let's roll with that.
So a chance for me to catch up one on the season for y'all because I'm down like 6th or 7th place right now. This next one we have Freddie's childhood favorite team, Texas A&M. They are 17.5 point dogs at Bama and Tuscaloosa. I don't think the venue matters too much this year, but I'm going with the Fighting Jimbos here. I think 17.5. I remember last year. Texas A&M, I think they were at Clemson. I forget what the spread was, but they needed a touchdown to cover in garbage time. And Jimbo calls a timeout with like 12 seconds left and gets the touchdown for the backdoor cover. And like anyone who bet on that game went wild because that was a lot of fun. I do think Jimbo knows the number. I think he's going to try and shorten the game, and I think he keeps it within the 17.5 points. What about you, TJ?
Yeah, A&M did not look good this week at all. But shout out to Meemaw. I've got Jimbo looking better this week. I don't know. They've historically played them a little bit better. Yeah, I don't know. I think I like Texas A&M here, but we'll see.
What about you, Freddie? That's your team, man. That you wanted to go there, right?
I think it's gonna be they double-digit loss, but I think they'll cover the spread. They'll probably lose by 14, but I think they cover that easily.
Okay. Ed, you going with us or are you going against the grain here?
Roll Tide.
All right.
I'm going Bama, but I want to give a shout out to my grandfather who's an alum at Texas A&M. So no hard feelings for Jimbo Fisher. I hope he does bring them a championship someday, but I'm going to go with Alabama here.
Dude, Ed is just a shout-out king. Ed's whole family's like the SEC, bro. I know this next game he's going to be like, yeah, I got a brother that plays for Jacksonville State. Like, he's on the offensive line. Shout him out, but go Noles. I can tell it's coming, man. Like,
well, we're going to save that one for last because we have a really big game. Number 4 versus number 7, the oldest rivalry in the South. Georgia hosting Auburn. Georgia's not even giving a touchdown, 6.5 points. I think last week scared a lot of people on Georgia. You know, Florida fans watch them play. They think they're down. Auburn, Kentucky is the reason that Auburn covered the spread, not Auburn being that good. Kentucky, they blew it. I think Georgia wins by at least 7, so the spread 6.5. So give me the Bulldogs here.
I'm gonna take Auburn. with this one. I don't know. Georgia's quarterback just didn't impress me last week, and I think they may struggle a little bit this week as well.
Ed?
No shout outs for this one. War Damn Eagle. I'm going Auburn.
Yeah, I like Georgia here. I thought Bennett looked good once he got in the second half. As bad as Georgia looked in the first half, Auburn wasn't very good either. Kentucky was down by 2 to start the fourth quarter. And so I think that at home, again, not that there's a crowd or anything, but just at home, not having to travel, things like that minimal impact. I think Georgia should beat Auburn. So, I'll take them to win and cover. Their talent is better. But Malzahn's probably a better X's and O's coach, so we'll see.
Yeah. And then we have the premier game of the week on your regional sports network, if you have it. Florida State hosting Jacksonville State. The last time these two got together in 2009, it was quite the barn burner. Florida State barely escapes it. They're giving 26.5 points this week. Give me the Gamecocks.
I'm not picking against Florida State until we get to Notre Dame and Clemson against the spread. And so I'll take the Noles here. I think that it's going to be – we'll get into our game preview later, but I think it's going to be ugly. And somehow Florida State still covers just because they're that much more talented. So we'll see. I'm just holding out hope that they cover.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Jacksonville State with this one. We haven't really given me a reason to at this point to think we can score that many points. So we'll see if they prove. Hopefully they prove me wrong, but at this point, I'm gonna just have to take them.
And before you go, these guys picked us to beat Miami last week, and they're not picking us to cover against Jacksonville State. I'm so sick of these two clowns. Like I gotta quit this, bro. So no, I'm just kidding.
I'll explain it later. I have a rationale for this, but let's let our guest picker, last week's champion, give his pick, man.
TJ, I'm gonna break your heart here, but
I don't care. I'm gonna pick up a point on the whole field. Let's go.
So there's nothing that I have seen from our defense to lead me to believe that I think we'll win, but they have not instilled any sort of confidence in me that leads me to think that they can that they'll outscore and cover those points. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Jacksonville here. And I mean, isn't their quarterback like a former Clemson player or something like that?
Yeah, and we've heard that a lot, and we'll get into it this week. So two things on that. One, so clearly he's good. He would be the best quarterback. If we swapped quarterbacks, and we don't know who's going to start, but let's just say JB starts. If you flip quarterbacks, I probably pick Florida State to cover the spread. With that said,
easily.
he's not like, Ryan Perrilloux in 2009, the former 5-star LSU player that played for Jacksonville State. Because if you're at Clemson and you hit the portal and you end up at Jacksonville State, that tells me not a lot of quality programs probably wanted you. So yes, he's still good, but he's not like this elite recruit that fans are trying to build him up to be that I've seen this week.
One thing I will say before I step away is, if I'm not mistaken, I think we've got a lot of guys coming back from injuries for this game. And I think that this is a great tune-up opportunity for a lot of our younger guys as well. I think we're going to see a few quarterbacks going ahead and making drives as well. I mean, it'll be interesting to see like what exactly they chalk up for the game. And I mean, hopefully the three of us are wrong and TJ gets his point on this one. So
I hope so too.
So Ed, appreciate you for hanging out. Got a couple callers lined up, and so we're going to kind of jump to them, but man, I hope you win again next week so I can give you crap about not picking us.
Absolutely. All right, you guys take care. Okay.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Ed.
Have a good one. Bye.
See you, bud. I'm excited to get to our over-unders. That's kind of my favorite part of the week. We never follow up on them, so we do.
We do.
I don't know where we stand like
so far.
Do you know where we stand like in the season standings?
Yeah,
okay,
I have all that.
All right.
My one job, I think I can handle it.
Even though
I did send you the picks like an hour before we recorded tonight, so
you're decent at it, so it'll be all right. Andrew, how's it going, man? Thanks for calling and hanging out.
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
What's up, Andrew?
I see your Bobby Bowden signed football. I've got the same one.
No. That's an original. There's one of one.
No,
you only signed one. Yeah,
same exact one, same spot.
Fake.
His hand almost fell off signing that day. How's it going, man? Thanks for calling in. And thanks for your support. What's going on?
Of course, man. Yeah, I love the pod, man. It's good shit. Wait, hold on. You guys love cussing?
We're trying to limit.
It's not
it,
the
but
roll cast, but yeah, we allow some cussing.
Not the roll cast. All right.
We won't kick you off.
Curse a little bit, but we keep it somewhat clean here.
Looking out for some replies and stuff. Have you guys talked about who's going to be starting next week at QB yet?
We haven't, but that is our one of our over-under picks for this week. And I'll throw it around the horn right now, and we'll bring it up again real quick at the end of the show. So my first over-under is James Blackman, 0.5 snaps taken in the first drive of the game. Spoiler, I'm taking the under. I think we roll somebody else out there. What do you guys say?
Yeah, I'm taking the same thing. I think Florida State, the whole nation gonna completely lose. We can't really move forward with him. Like he's not out leading nothing against him. But I think it's just a time to roll somebody out there and see what we can get out of him.
Who you want out there, Freddie?
Who I want out there?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I ain't seen any of the other guys play. I just know I don't want Blackman out there. That's just keeping it real.
And unfortunately, I think that's the common theme of the fan base. And I know there's only going to be, man, I saw that there's only like 4,000 student tickets available. Only like 1,000 have been claimed so far. There's gonna be like 10,000 people at this game, and I hate it because, again, I don't think he's a quarterback for us. I think he's a good kid and he cares and he loves Florida State. Even 10,000 people, if he goes out there on the first drive, I'm afraid he's gonna get booed. And if he does, that's gonna ruin him for that whole game. So I think you have to send somebody else. TJ, you think it's gonna be James or someone else?
Didn't Jordan Travis technically start the last game? Didn't he take the first snaps?
I think he started at receiver, didn't he? And like,
oh, that's right. Yeah. And we ran like a reverse to him or something weird the first play.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wouldn't shock me either way. I mean, no, it's totally a coin flip. I mean, I'll take the under just because it's kind of what I want to happen. I don't have any kind of leads or inside sources on that or anything like that. But, you know, I think that Norvell understands. Norvell's caught in a tough position, right? Yeah. I think there's a decent chance that Blackman gives us the best chance to win every game. But that it's not what's best for the future. And Norvell really needs to get this win. Like, he can't lose this one, right? And so Blackman isn't the answer going forward. And so I'm totally with like putting Chuba or putting Tate in and building toward the future. But it's also not my job that's on the line. And so Norvell has to get wins where he can get them, right? And this is the easiest one left on the schedule. And I am not confident in Blackman long-term going forward, but I am confident that Blackman can beat Jacksonville State. And so that's kind of the question, right? Is Norvell confident that Tate or Chuba or Jordan or a mixture of all four or whoever can beat Jacksonville State? That's kind of what he's got to weigh. And then maybe you move to the youth movement after that, but you can't lose this game, right? Like
any of them should be able to beat Jacksonville State.
They should.
If they can't, then we have bigger issues than that.
I mean, I agree with that in theory, but like, you know, who knows, man? Like, you're going to
for sure. Yeah.
I haven't seen how they practice. Like, who knows? Like the drop off could be, I mean, what if Norvell ranks Blackman like a 5 out of 10, but like has watched the other guys practice and says like, no, they're definitely 2s. Like, they are definitely worse. Right. And I mean, I trust Norvell to make the right decision in that sense. So
here's where, you know, Norvell being on the sidelines last week helped, right? You know, he's sitting there, he's watching this game, he's watching this thing from a fan's perspective. And I think I may go against the grain here, but I do think Jordan Travis needs to start this game for us to have the best chance of covering the spread. Richie?
Yes, sir. Well, I picked Jacksonville State to cover just before you got on. So.
I do too. Unless Jordan Travis starts and he runs the triple option, because no one can stop that man when he's running the ball. The only person that can stop that man is himself. He gets hurt every single time he runs more than 4 plays in a row. But you watch him against Florida, you watch him against anybody. He's popping 10 yards a play. I mean, the man is just wild because you know what he does? He takes pressure off the O-line. He puts pressure on the linebackers. He puts pressures on the DBs. But the man has never started a game at QB, so he has zero confidence. I don't know what happened. I don't know where it went, but there was a spring game that occurred last year. Obviously, we didn't get to see any of the young guys this year, but there was a spring game that occurred last year. He was the best QB out there. I mean, the man was throwing dimes. He was putting darts on these receivers. And he wasn't allowed to run it. So we didn't even know that his legs were what they were when he played BC. And now there's this stigma around the kid that, he's got no confidence, can't throw the fucking ball. Sorry.
You're good.
But that's where it's at, And so for me, if I want to win against Jacksonville State, I want to dominate against Jacksonville State, which is what I want to do. I'm putting Travis in. I'm letting him run the ball until he hurts himself, which is going to happen. And then I'm going to start letting the young dudes play. I'm going to start seeing what they got in front of them. I don't want to put Chubb in just yet because Freddie knows. I mean, anyone who's played this game knows the collarbone is not something you come back from in a couple of weeks. Those are the dudes that hit hard. Those are the dudes that look for contact. You don't just come back from collarbone, man. It's been too soon for that to happen. So, and Freddie, I know I'm not gonna be here long, but I do want to let you off easy on your James Blackman takes from.
We got to talk about that, man. We got.
Hey, we got to talk about it for a second. We got to talk about it for a second because it's this whole fan base. You know, we're all wrapped up in what can Norvell do for us? What can he do? You know, he's a coach. He's a better coach than Willie. Whatever. You know, that's not proven yet. But you know, I'm gonna let you off easy, Freddie, because one, you'll fucking murder me.
Oh man, I'm
and two,
man, it's all good.
Two, I mean, you usually had your Facebook or your face mask in someone's chest, man. You weren't really watching the QBs. You were watching them through the same ABC affiliate lens that we were, man. With the exception, I guess, of Clemson. You like to put your face mask in their lower thigh and, you know, get us called back. It's all right, whatever.
Man, this guy's coming in hot tonight.
Gosh. But I mean, let's be honest. I mean, who's the best quarterbacks in the NFL? They're dual threat, right?
Tom Brady, 42-year-old man.
Pocket passer today in the NFL. He doesn't exist. I mean, I think we got Drew Brees as the only one that's even out there anymore.
Now. He's done.
Oh, and even Drew was able to move around the pocket, right? Like he's not Aaron Rodgers or one of these guys, but even Drew. I'm trying to think right now who the best. I mean, probably as sad as it is, who is the best pocket passer?
And Tom Brady, yes.
And Brady's like barely a top. I mean, he's not even a top 5 quarterback in the league right now. I mean, he's pushing top 10. You know, so like you're right, Andrew. Like the best quarterbacks are all dual threat. I mean, if you just think of, you know, Rodgers, Wilson, KC, Mahomes, Baltimore, right? Oh boy, there's definitely a drop off after those 4.
Well, Rodgers was not very good until they drafted that young quarterback, and he's like, all right, guys, now I'm gonna start playing again and show you made mistakes.
Rodgers. I mean, I wouldn't consider Rodgers a dual threat, but he definitely
wait. Richie, what was that? Say that again.
Rodgers, man, last year. I know they went. I think it was 13-3, but they weren't that great. Or Rodgers was not that great. But this year, he's came out like a.
But man, Rodgers was good before that, right? Like he won a Super Bowl.
Well, obviously he was good before that. I'm just saying.
You're saying he had a bad year last year.
Yeah, he did.
People were saying it was like, oh, is his career over? And then Green Bay goes out and drafts a quarterback. He's like, he's the most petty man in the world. He doesn't even talk to his own brother. He's like, I'm going to show you guys. You draft a quarterback. All right, here I'm going to go just throw the ball all over everyone to start the season off.
Well, he's like MJ. He's like, hey, that's all I need.
Took it personally.
Dude,
Rodgers is amazing. Rodgers is an amazing quarterback.
Damon Hatter in the chat says Big Ben. Man, that guy, he can still play for his age. And
Big Ben
and we all know, you know, to that point, we all know the NFL is a little slower to adopt than the college game is. You know, It all bubbles up. And so the fact that the top 5 in the NFL are these dudes that are just as dangerous outside the pocket at improv with their feet. You know, to roll a pure pocket passer out there in the college game is just, to me, giving up. You know,
I'd like to see Travis throw it, but I mean, now we're looking at like 3 people that haven't let him throw the ball. Like, right? Like, I hate to credit anything Willie Taggart did, but Taggart wouldn't let him throw it. Obviously, Bryles wouldn't let him throw it, and now Norvell too. Yeah. And so, you know, I'm not trying to go exactly against what you were saying, but like, there's got to be something to that, right? Like the kid either doesn't, like he just has to be terrible right now or something. But I mean, you know, like you said, Blackman's not lighting the world on fire either, obviously. So let him try, you know, like, I mean, let him do it once for the fan base, right? Like if the pass sails by like 15 yards, then we'll stop asking for it, right? Like just let him show us one time.
I'm with you. I want to see the kid get the nod.
I mean,
early
Nick Marshall
in the week.
used to throw. Nick Marshall, like
that's my cool thing.
Yeah,
I was with Andrew on this, and I actually do think we'll see Jordan Travis out there early. I think he'll start the game for us and give us opportunity to move the ball, give him a little rhythm just with his running ability. And early on, I think it's important to kind of get the ball out of his hands quickly so that he builds a little confidence and gets warmed up, gets in a little rhythm. And I think that'll give us an opportunity to make some plays because we've seen in games, going back to Georgia Tech game again, how we started off with the first 15, we looked smooth, and then everything just stalled out, and we just kind of saw how Blackman can't really go through that progression, doesn't really make the right decisions, doesn't really have those instincts that you need from your quarterback. And I think this type of game, you got to take that chance with a guy like Jordan Travis. Worst case scenario, if it isn't there, you know he's going to take off and run. He's not going to hesitate to do that. So I'm with you. I think he should start this game. And if he doesn't start this game, I got a lot of questions. I think he should start his game.
And Andrew, I think it's worth noting real quick. Brendan Sonnone of 247 dropped a Sonnone bomb today. Said last week that Chuba Purdy he practiced, but he was bombs? Limited. He called it that, so I'm gonna give him credit. He called it that himself to make it. That's even worse. But I'm still doing it here. Anyways, let's get to the point.
We talk a lot of bourbon, Brendan and I do weekly, but like, don't compare yourself to Woj. Like Woj tweets LeBron's going to LA, and Sonnone just says like Chuba practiced. Come on.
Anyways, no, but he did say it, and I do trust him and his sources that Chuba Purdy was limited last week in practice, and this week he's not been limited. So we don't know if he's cleared or 100% okay to go.
Could mean he didn't practice at all. He just wasn't limited because he was on the sideline.
I think he's out there, and I definitely think he's part of the plan. And we'll get into this again, but I know we got to get Damon off and get the next caller. But man, that's I do think we see Chuba this week. I'll just say that.
I'm not going to say we don't. I wouldn't love to see him get the majority of the snaps, just because I think the play style we want him to embody is going to be more of the designed run. You talk about Winston and Burrow, who are more of these guys who are dual threat quarterbacks, but they're more dangerous from inside the pocket, right? Stepping up and stuff, as opposed to like the Cam Newtons and the Tim Tebows, who design runs per game 10, 15, right? So I don't want to rush Purdy back. I really don't want to see him until he's 100% healthy. That collarbone's no joke. That's no joke, man. We've all been there.
Andrew, I don't mean to pull a Newberg, but we got to move on. But I appreciate you calling in and hanging out with us tonight, man. Go Knowles. We're gonna cover that spread too. Don't let these.
Hold on, Andrew. Shout out your Twitter on the on here. I know you're a pretty good follow. So.
Oh yeah,
he's such a good follow. He's such a good follow that he doesn't know you're at.
I don't know anybody's at. I don't know you're at TJ. I don't even know you're at.
I love Richie, man. He's a good dude. Like, but I don't tweet that. I don't do a volume tweet, man. I'm just like every now and then I'll get like 600 or 700 likes on something every once a month. So I'm pretty low key. It's not that Rawlings. It's good. I love you guys, man. Rich, you gave. I know you because you gave one of the worst best man speeches of all time at a wedding, and the only reason it was because
were you there?
It was a bad speech was because Georgia Tech literally beat our asses on the kick six, and so no one with a Y chromosome heard a thing you fucking said.
Yeah, well, no, luckily that wedding I was not the best man. I was just a groomsman. So
maybe that's how I got you confused with somebody else. But that's how little attention anyone was paying. But hey,
that was the wedding. That was that night. So yeah,
I really appreciate y'all. You guys are doing great, man. I'm following it. So hey, big ups, go Knowles.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, I am. This next call is not going that long. He was a good caller, but we just can't. But it's already 8:45, and some of us.
Oh, it is.
Got cabinets to paint because our wives like to do home projects. I'm not pointing.
I did that 2 weeks ago. I painted all the kitchen cabinets.
Oh man, I'm not pointing anybody out, but some people's wives like to do this stuff. So, we just added Brandon. It looks like he's connecting. It's not great live radio, but we're waiting on Brandon to connect. Brandon, can you hear us? No, I'm going to add Jeremy real quick too. And whichever one connects, the other one goes back in the waiting room. Jeremy's audio is connecting a little faster. Jeremy, how's it going? Can you hear us?
Yes. How you guys doing?
Good, man. What's on your mind?
Congrats on not having the Cromartie Wi-Fi. That was quick, man.
So yeah, it's not the one that started that hashtag, so I got to do the right thing, man. So yes, I don't think we're going to cover this week. And this quarterback's going to be a problem for us. 70 touchdowns he's got, I think, in his career.
He's got 61, I think. He's got 60 or 61 right now. He's going to break the school record this week because he's only one away.
Right.
You think we lose though, or we win comfortably, or what's your call here? Win by 10, 14?
A 3-point win would be like a miracle with us these days.
Come on, man. Have some faith. Have a little faith. I know Adam Fuller's not giving us anything to believe in, but come on.
I wonder at this point with the senior class, and I hate to say this, is all they've had in their career is a coach that checked out on them for their first year, Willie Taggart for 2 years, and now this. You wonder how much they even enjoy football now to get up for this.
I think that's a good point that these seniors, especially, they committed to a coach that had just won a national title like 2 years prior to that. And then he checks out. Depending on who you talk to, he knew he was leaving before he even played Alabama. Then Willie Taggart comes in and he sells a new hope. And unfortunately, the message just didn't. I got
What's that, TJ? You think if we beat Alabama and go like 11-1 that year, he's leaving?
No, but I think he was definitely looking to leave.
I just want to make sure. You said before we lost Alabama, he knew he was leaving.
He was trying to leave too.
Yeah, so he almost left after 2013.
Recurring trend every year. It was just going to happen eventually.
It was going to happen eventually. We heard every single year we had to fight with that battle.
So Freddie, after your freshman year, you won a national championship, and there was rumors, and more than rumors, that he was going to leave for Texas after that year. Do you guys remember hearing that? Or I know, because I know you heard it every year.
Every year we got
every time a new big job came open. That's why. That's when you heard that, right? Like I don't know that Jimbo was necessarily flirting with.
When did Jimbo ever shut down a rumor? He would never shut it down. He's like, I love being at Florida State. Florida State's my dream job.
LSU shut him down. He didn't shut them down.
No, he was flirting with it, just talking with some people that knew some things behind the scenes. He was. That's why year after year it started to bother us, because he would be in front of us, talking with us like he was with us, and we're like, no, we know you talking. We understand, like, you got a family and everything too, but you got to keep it real with us too. Like, we going out here, busting ass for you. Like, we need you to be real with us. Like, we came here and we committed to you, so you got to keep it real with us. And every year we kept hearing that, and he would tell us that it was nothing and wouldn't really talk on it much. But we seeing this on the media all the time. So like, man, coach, what's up? But he never really would speak on it.
So Freddie, I don't want to hijack the podcast, but that's something a lot of fans have questions about. Like, when was he serious? When was he not? Obviously, you guys heard the rumors as players. You turn on ESPN in the FIG, and they're talking about Jimbo Fisher, LSU. Is it going to happen? No. Next year, it's Jimbo Fisher, Texas. Is it going to happen? No. Is it going to be Auburn? No. And then that last year, so 2017, obviously that was the first year you left. You start hearing those Texas A&M rumors, and for some reason I'm thinking, man, this is different. Like, I really think he might leave this year. I'm not sure why, but I think I think Jimbo's a very, very intelligent man, one of the brightest football minds in all of college football. I think he knew he was leaving Florida State. If not before that Alabama game, definitely right after. I think he knew. And it didn't just happen that year. He was flirting years and years. So what was it like with your teammates in the locker room? When you hear the rumors, what do you guys say? Because obviously you guys didn't have the transfer portal around. I think if the transfer portal were around when Jimbo was there, we might have lost a lot of players just from all these rumors.
I think I don't know. It's just, you got two sides. You got the guys that they were loyal to Jimbo, and Jimbo was their guy, and then you got guys that they came there and they felt like everything they were promised it didn't happen. So a lot of guys, they wanted to see him gone. So you got mixed emotions. But you talk about the Texas A&M. I remember during the season, I think it was 2014 maybe, where the LSU rumor started, and we were undefeated that year. And that LSU felt like it could happen. Like, you just felt the energy when we came in the meeting room. Like, it just felt like, all right, he's not going to be here next year. So that's when we knew, like, man, he flirting with these teams. He completely changed the way he deals with us. Like, he's definitely – and we knew that he had history with LSU. So, like, if he leaves FSU for any school, it's definitely going to be LSU. So we felt the change, and guys were kind of feeling that vibe, and we didn't really know what to expect, but we just prepared for whatever.
And people forget he's a master manipulator.
Yeah, I mean, he's so. I mean, we all know that. But like, so here's my question. Here's my devil's advocate defend Jimbo question on this. How much of this could have been solved? because every time he would go flirt with another school, he would go ask, the school, Florida State for XYZ. And we know there are problems and have been problems with the athletic department at Florida State. We know there are problems and were problems and continue. Hopefully things are fixed now. We know there were problems when Jimbo was here with the booster organization. And so not to give him a complete free pass on this, but how much of it could have been solved if the athletic department, the FSU admin, and the booster organization had been able to provide Jimbo the things that he wanted, right? And the things that he was asking for, the standalone facility and things like that. Because typically when he would go flirt, he would come back and they would give him something else, right? And so like the reason he ended up leaving for Texas A&M was they played hardball with him. They said, no, we're not doing that, right? So should Jimbo have had to ask for that? Because Jimbo wasn't wrong asking for any of that. He was asking for us to be on the level of a Clemson and an Alabama and things like that. So again, I'm not giving him I'm not giving him a free pass, but that's my question.
What didn't he get? He got everything he ever asked for.
Jimbo got everything he asked for. He got the IPF. He got it all. He just got greedy, and I think he used it. And what pisses me off the most, because I love Jimbo, and he'll always be probably my second favorite coach because he won a national title at Florida State. So I hope he does well at Texas A&M. But at the same time, he used the financial issue as a sunscreen to hide behind it. Like, no, that's why. And what pisses me off about what Jimbo did, he told national media guys like Kirk Herbstreit, people that have influence, like, that we don't have the facilities, we don't have the commitment. When we committed everything to Jimbo that we could, and we were being reasonable, and the standalone facility plan was in the works when Jimbo was still here. He just wanted a reason to leave. I don't know what it was. I know we're not going to get into his personal life because I don't think that's appropriate, but there were many reasons for him to leave. And I think he wanted a way out. And Texas A&M, when you back up a Brinks truck with $75 million, there's your way out. No one's going to question you.
Sorry,
Freddie.
We gave him $40 million guaranteed. He gets the brand new, Freddie, you were there for that. The new lock, the game, the players lounge, and then wanted it torn down right away to build the players only. You can't tell boosters we're spending all this money for you, and then a week later say, nah, forget it. He was doing that left and right at a certain point.
But you can understand with the standalone facility, we had fallen behind a lot of other teams' facilities.
But they never said no to that. They said yes.
I know for a fact, just seeing everything on the outside looking in, because I experienced, like DeMarcus Walker, he came in and he actually knew like what these facilities look like. I wasn't offered by Alabama, but he was telling me like the different resources that they had that we didn't have at Florida State. So then you have a guy like Coach Pruitt coming in, and at first Pruitt, he kind of had a lot of issues with Florida State because he was so used to having different things right in front of him. And he was like, man, I can't really do it here. And Jimbo's the same way. He's coming from LSU. Of course, FSU was a prestigious university, but we were way behind the 8-ball on that one. Like they had things that we didn't have.
Still are.
Killing us in recruiting. And even when you're dealing with guys like Clemson, they started stepping it up. And it's like, man, we're trying to compete with Clemson now, and they're doing it on a higher level than we are. So, and I know he always had some issues with the boosters from day one. When we came in freshman year, you kind of saw that in our meetings and stuff, kind of felt the tension in the room. And I just think they always had issues, and he was trying to find ways to get things done for us, and they never really wanted to do it. He would fight for us. I remember a meeting, they kind of got heated, and you felt the energy in the room, and he just walked off. He didn't really want to deal with them. So I could see where the boosters, he just like, man, they're never going to do what I need to get done for these kids. So I think that may have played a role in it.
Freddie, let me ask you a question real quick.
And then we got a couple more, and we got to get out of here. But go ahead.
So we'll make this quick. But Freddie, just because obviously we're all Florida State fans, we read a lot of stuff. There's a lot of chatter, and I believe it to be true. And I know you played for Jimbo, and again, I love what he did for this university. He brought us a natty. That's all I need. But there was a lot of talk that he had a lot of toxic relationships in Florida State, whether it be with Andy Miller with the boosters, whether it be with the receptionist at the Moore Center, whoever it was. It seemed like for whatever reason, it wasn't all happy-go-lucky. Like, could you feel that when you were there, especially your last 2 years, so to speak?
Great question.
I think that's something you kind of felt early, to be honest, but you didn't really know until like coming in as a freshman, you didn't really know what was going on. So as we kind of matured and seen everything that was playing itself out, like, oh, this is what it is. So I think it was an issue from day one when I got there. It's just when it got to the tail end of things, he just kind of was fed up with it. Like, this is the final straw.
But
I mean, like we've said, we've said,
season at the end.
Yeah, and like we said, there were massive, not to excuse anything Jimbo's done, but there were massive deficiencies within our athletic department and massive deficiencies within our booster organization. And so a Jimbo that had come from an SEC and sees that our athletic department and our booster organization are run like complete clown shows, I can understand him getting frustrated. Now, I'm not saying that it's right for him to develop toxic relationships, but I think you can at least understand it, right? Like if we had the ability to operate like a Texas A&M, like a Clemson, like a Georgia, like an Alabama with a blank check, Jimbo would absolutely still be here. We didn't. He wanted more, and so things soured. I mean, that's exactly how it went, right?
I don't think that was it. Like,
you think you just hated FSU? You think you just wanted to get out?
I think things you could see towards the end, like our coach.
What do you think those? But what was the cause of those? What was the cause of it getting sour? You think Jimbo just changed as a person?
His personal life, but I think his personal life in a lot of ways just carried over into.
I think, and
we
could do a.
Yeah, I think
we could do an hour-long show on this.
Everything he wanted. He wanted coaches' raises. He got that. He wanted Charles Kelly for big money.
I mean, Freddie's telling you right now that he wasn't getting everything he wanted. Those booster meetings were getting heated.
Yeah,
and things like that.
I agree with Freddie's. Yeah.
So I mean, yes, I can agree. If you can come halfway and meet me and say like some of the personal life affected, but like FSU's admin and booster organization is not without blame.
So let me jump in right here. I think Damon Hatter in the Facebook chat nailed it. When Monk Bonicer passed away from cancer, that was it. Because he was the one person who could keep Jimbo's ego in check, and he was the community who actually respected and would listen. And when Monk passed away, R.I.P. Monk, Jimbo he didn't have anybody in the program. Like, he was the king of Florida State, well above the athletic director, well above the president, well above anybody. And if he didn't get what he wanted, it's not that he didn't get what he wanted. He didn't get what he wanted as soon as he wanted it. Yeah. And that's what killed it. But I definitely think, Monk Bonicer's passing was tragic. And I think that was the final thing for Florida State and Jimbo, in my opinion. And Freddie, I don't know, did you ever meet Monk, or do you know?
Yeah, Monk was around a lot, and just I can see that because Monk held a lot.
But sometimes just didn't get it fast enough, right? Like he was impatient on things. Again, I'm going into defend Jimbo mode, but when you're falling behind these other programs, you can understand why he would be impatient, right? Like, and I'm not saying
that's fair.
You get a pass for it, but every day that you are trying to compete with Clemson and things aren't getting done. Now, Florida State also doesn't have the blank check that Georgia has and Texas A&M has and stuff like that. And so maybe Jimbo's expectations were a little bit off of that too. But
hey, Jalen Ramsey, where are you at?
Anyway,
where are you at?
Jameis, give us $100,000. Hey, when Jameis signs that next contract with the Saints this year, oh my God, I'm going to gloat for 4 weeks on here. Jeremy, thanks for hanging out today, man. Thanks for your support.
Thank you, guys. Freddie, thanks for your honesty as always, man.
Sure, appreciate you coming on.
Freddie's not honest, bro. We picked Miami last week. I don't know, honesty. What is this?
I'm gonna roast myself. I honestly thought we had a chance, and clearly couldn't have been more wrong.
And I thought we was gonna come.
TJ showed up late, of course, to the game watch event that we had in Orlando here. But man, things went south, and I brought my buddy. He's getting all pissed off, yelling. I just started laughing.
I was like 10 minutes late. I wasn't that late.
Well, the game got delayed, so we'll call it 25 minutes.
Man, we got all in it. Third down conversions on us. We kept getting them in third and long, and they kept getting them. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a long game.
Yeah, no, man.
That's old stuff. Quit bringing up old stuff. So
we're on to Jacksonville State, guys. Gamecocks. Danielle's working, so.
Daniel, bro. Disrespectful. He's connected to audio right now.
He didn't hear that then, right?
No, unless he's watching.
So he probably heard it. My bad. There we go.
Daniel, you are added. It looks like your audio's muted and your video's muted. So if you can hear us, come hang out. If you can't, then jump out of here.
Hey, bud, can you hear me?
Yeah. How's it going, man?
Good, man. How about you?
Pretty good, man. Hoping that we have a better week next week than we've had this week after this Miami loss.
I hope to beat Jacksonville State, right?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this game? What's going to happen?
Oh, honestly, I think we're going to lose.
Honestly,
you
let's
really?
go. Hey, do you have can you turn your video on? Unless you're like naked or something.
I'm not. My house is just a mess. Don't judge me. 2-year-old problems.
No, that's fine, bro. Mine's terrible.
What's up, guys?
So you got us losing. At least you still have your Knowles stuff on. So like that'll work. Why do you think we lose this game? Where's it all going wrong?
I think Blackman's going to start and just put us in a hole too big to come back from.
That's a fear of mine. I don't think he's going to start, but I'm afraid if he does, then. But then again, we look back to last year, like Louisiana Monroe. We came out. We all thought at the end of the second quarter that's going to be a blowout, and then we need a mixed extra point in overtime just to walk away with the win. So he doesn't handle adversity well, and he doesn't handle a big lead well. So
to be fair, I think he threw. Yeah, I think he threw one in the second half, or did he throw two? Let me look it up.
I know he threw the picks.
Look it up, but it was not an ideal performance against what you would expect to be that. But who do you think should take the first snap this week, man?
I'd like to see Chuba get it, but sounds like he's a little behind, obviously, with the injury and stuff like that. So, Tate Rodemaker.
Tate, okay. Do you think Jordan can play a full game at quarterback? Because it seems like multiple staffs don't trust him to throw the ball right now.
Yeah, they don't trust him to throw, right?
Yeah.
I had an idea, and it was kind of before the season started. Just go triple option.
You're the second caller to say that.
Travis run triple option. You got like 6 backs. Sure, none of them are game breakers or anything, but Georgia Tech never has the game breaker running back, when they ran it.
I mean, how hard is that to install, though? Like, you can't install that in a week off. Can you?
No, definitely not a week off.
Well, Adam Fuller tried to install a 3-man front in 1 week, and that didn't work out too well.
Yeah, I agree, but that's a little different than triple option.
I just wanted to shut on
one guy standing up.
Yeah.
So, do you think the defense improves at all, Daniel? Where are you at with them against this quarterback's got a lot of touchdowns in his career?
I feel like it's hard to get much worse.
He's probably a better thrower than De'Aaron King. If we're keeping it a buck.
Yeah.
Now he's not as good of an athlete and he's not as good of a runner by far, but he's probably a better thrower. Their athletes are probably worse. Their offensive line's probably not as good. I mean, we'll say that around him, but
no, I definitely agree. I don't know, man. It's kind of sad that we're sitting here stressing about Jacksonville State, but that just shows how far the program has dipped off.
I'm actually not stressing. I think we cover and win comfortably. I'm just a masochist. Yeah. Okay. I think we I have nothing to base that on. I have nothing has come out, but I don't know.
The best predictor of the future is history, right? And TJ's looking at 2 touchdowns in 8 quarters for our offense. And no coach should be on the hot seat after 2 games, but Adam Fuller, I'm looking at you, man.
Yeah.
You gotta do something.
That's that unit's been extremely.
Who's this one? Who are they beating? Duke? Duke's 0-3.
They'll still beat someone.
I feel like they'll find a couple of games on the back end with a young quarterback. Duke.
I'm hoping they win this game, upset somebody, and then win those 2 win a couple at the end. Yeah, would you feel good with 5 wins at this point? 5 and 6. I'd feel amazing.
I'd sign on the dotted line right now.
I would trade the rest of this year for 5 wins immediately.
That means you beat Jacksonville State, Duke, and NC State, and then you win one of those toss-up games.
Right. You beat the path to 5 wins, not predicting this. The path to 5 wins is Jacksonville State, NC State, Virginia, and Duke. And then upsetting Pittsburgh, Louisville, or North Carolina. Any of those things could happen, in my opinion. We could be any of those one-offs could happen. It's putting all 5 of them together, right? Like that's going to be tough.
So real quick, listen to this schedule real quick from a year ago. This team loses to Georgia State at home 30-30. They lose to BYU the next week. They beat a bad Chattanooga team, get blown out by Florida, blown out by Georgia. They beat a okay Mississippi State team, blown out by Alabama. Then they win their last 5 games: South Carolina, UAB, Kentucky, Missouri, and Vanderbilt. That was Tennessee last year in Jeremy Pruitt's first year. So I'll just say Tennessee fans had to be feeling really good. And if we're being honest, their recruiting saw a lot of benefits last year with a strong end to the season. They stole a really good defensive tackle from us, Morgan Joseph, at the last minute. I think Florida State or the last game of the first half. And then I think it's Louisville that starts it, whoever starts it after that. But we're going to take our lumps in the front half of the schedule. But if we show improvement and win games against teams that right now nobody says we have a chance, I disagree. I think we can beat Pitt. I think we can beat NC State. I think we can beat Louisville. I think we're going to beat Jacksonville State. That's 4. There might be another one in there. There's a chance right now because we are so low. Florida State fans have never been this low in their lives. I'm 32 years old. I've never felt the program this low. But if they win, 4 of their last 6 and they look good and they look improved and they make adjustments, there's a lot of reason to be optimistic moving forward. Right now, I understand if you call me crazy for having any optimism for the future, I'm with you. I get it. But at the same time, I saw what Mike Norvell did at Memphis. He took over a good program, but he maintained it for 4 years. It's not like he went there for a year, then left, and then just flopped somewhere. He was there for 4 years and maintained it. So I do think there's a good chance that we see that improvement. It comes down to the players, and that's on Norvell too. You got to get these players to buy in, and it's especially tougher with the senior class and the juniors even to say, hey, you're probably not going to be here to see the fruits of your labor, but you can be a foundation for it. And
I think we'll see
that's
improvement.
the biggest part.
I think we'll see improvement. My fear is that we just won't see that improvement until next year because it all comes down to quarterback. I'm scared of. As far as individual games, we've done nothing that would make me think that we can stay up with Louisville in an offensive shootout. That's going to be. We've done nothing to make me think that we can move the ball on Pitt. So those games at this point, I'm still kind of saying are probably a loss. But that's maybe why I'm trying to trick myself into. That's why I'm trying to trick myself into thinking that we cover. Because if we cover, then I can lie to myself and say okay, well, at least the offense knows how to move, right? So we'll see.
One thing I'll say on us covering, why I like your pick. I do think Mike Norvell understands the scrutiny he's faced, and he wants to score as many points as possible, even if looks ugly, like Blake rolling, even if it's they're a good FCS team, Jacksonville State. They're definitely a good FCS team, but they shouldn't be able to compete with even a bottom tier FBS team. I think if he has the chance, he's going to run it up. He may try to do it with backups. He won't leave the starters in the whole game, but I can definitely see him running up the score towards the end of the game with backups, just because he knows this fan base just needs something to be proud about, because we haven't been proud of this program since our co-host Freddie left.
Yeah, Orange Bowl. Orange Bowl, right?
Run it up. Teams gonna take the opportunity to run it up on us if they got the chance to make some type of statement this year.
We got to get that killer mentality back. That's what we need.
And I think we've talked about that. There's a chance that could come along with the youth, but when the youth comes in, you're going to lose a lot of talent, right? You're going to put yourself in a tough position against teams that are experienced, like North Carolina, like Louisville, like Pitt. So we may see more fight, right? But we're probably going to see less talent, right? And so
we can't see less fight than we saw in those last 3 quarters against Miami.
But we can definitely see less talent, and so that's
because they take Rivals, ESPN, 247, all that. We're going to be less talented next year, but I think we're going to be a better team. And I think that'll be a sign of Mike Norvell making progress.
And I think by next year, I think by next year that'll matter. But this year, when you just swap out that straight true freshman for that 4th-year senior or that 3rd-year junior or what, you might get a guy that tries a lot harder, but he ain't going to cut. That ain't going to make me feel better about beating anybody. It'll make me feel better to not watch kids quit.
Seniors that are just trash. I ain't going to say their names, but they garbage.
Yeah. I'm not talking about
if I see 35 on defense on the field this week, I'm going to lose my mind. If I see 1 on offense, I'm not going to be happy. I'm to the point, and we talked about him if I see 11 on offense, I'm done with him at this point. He's not proven it. And we don't need to go into a segment of who we're done with, but there's certain players that they are no longer, not only are they not part of the solution, they are actually a part of the problem. I think we do have not a lot, but a few of those guys still on the roster, and we need to get those guys out of here because get me a Lawrence Toafili, man. That guy, he's not an elite athlete or anything, but he's a damn good running back, and he runs like he cares. Even in the fourth quarter when he's down by 40 points, he's running like, it's the national championship. Give me guys like that. Give me an Amari Gaynor. Give me those young guys that want to go out and prove it. And I'm not saying flush all the old guys off. Marvin Wilson, give him credit. He's not played well this year. He got ejected, but he chose to stand on the sideline, cheer on to the team, and talk to the younger players after that, in the second half of that Miami game. Give me that over some senior who's like, oh, I'm ejected. Cool. I'm gonna go take my helmet off and sit on the bench because I'm not playing the rest of this game. So and it's up to Norvell to figure that out.
I agree with you 100% that I would rather see effort than talent. But when you take the drop in talent, I mean, you're not going to compete as much. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
What's the difference between 1 and 4 wins at this point, right?
I mean, you get
might as well build for next year. I'd rather go 1-10 this year, and we'll call it 6-6 next year, than go 1-10 and 3-9 next year. Let's get the guys that are going to be part of the future in the solution. That's what we need to be playing. But if we don't,
what's the floor for the recruiting class if we go 1-10? Like 35, 40?
Not bad. Yeah. Not bad to compare to most people.
No. 40 is compared to everyone who's not ACC.
If you get one win and have a top 40 recruiting class, that's damn good. So that's
what I'm saying.
That's the logo.
Yeah. I'm just telling you, would you rather get 4 wins and finish top 30 or 1 win and finish like in the 50s? Do we lose Altmaier with 1 win? Do we not have a quarterback again next year and we just have to roll with Chuba and hope that he's it? Yeah, that's kind of my thought. You need to win games.
I think Altmaier's out.
How many boosters do you think we lose if we go 1-10?
Oh my God, that's
so I mean, I understand what you're saying. There's not a huge difference between one. We need to win some games.
Agree. And I think we will. And I think people saying if we don't beat Jacksonville State, we won't win a game. I disagree. And that's how college football works. You see Nick Saban lost to Louisiana Monroe his first year at Bama. Ed Orgeron lost to Troy his first year at LSU and then won a national title. Jimbo lost to Oklahoma by 30 points, I think, his first year at Florida State. First year coaches are always at a disadvantage. And especially in this year when he had 2 months to deal with his players and then everything's on Zoom beyond that. There's no time to develop these guys, and they've had 2 different staffs. There's just so much going on, so many different factors. It's so hard to tell. I believe in Mike Norvell.
I think Norvell gets to turn around too, but it's way harder on Norvell than it was on any of those coaches you just mentioned. Florida State is way more talent depleted, has turned coaches over way more than any of those other schools did. So I agree with you that Norvell will do it. It's way tougher on Norvell than it has been on anybody else, right? Like LSU was still LSU, right, when Edo took over. And they had 1 bad loss. I get it with that bad loss they had. But, I mean, they were still pulling in way better recruiting classes than we are now. Still had the blank check to work with and things like that. Daniel, we got a couple other callers we got to get to. It's already 9:20, and someone's got to paint cabinets tonight. But thanks for hanging out, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
You bet. I am going to try and add Brandon one more time. Brandon has been the toughest ad that we've ever had on this show, but it says he's joining. I have no confidence this is going to happen. We keep saying that these calls are going to go a little shorter, but they just aren't happening. So I'm going to Shay. Let me message Brandon one more time. Just tell him I don't think it was meant to be.
Yeah, not tonight.
Did you? Again. Man, Freddie, I'm sorry, Richie kind of became like a fake hockey fan for like a day, but it was cool to watch the Bolts win. I saw you fake cheering on the Bolts the other day in Game 6.
I'm saying search my name with Bolts, Lightning, whatever on Twitter. I've been tweeting since high school when they were good, and then not for a while, and then they were good again. Yeah,
So
I'm a front runner, but I don't have another team. I'm a front runner, but at least I'm not one of those front runners that don't have another team. Like Tampa Bay is my team. I'm a all Central Florida pro sports guy. So any Central Florida pro sports team, that's my team.
Big LeBron fan.
Wait, we got
a
caller here.
I know. I just want to make sure. Big LeBron fan here for the rest of the finals.
Never been a LeBron fan. Never have, never will.
Unfortunate. Shay, how's it going, man?
What's going on, man? My name ain't Shay, man. This is my girl Zoom, man. My bad, fella.
What's your name? I'll change
What's your name, man?
Zadi.
Zadi, what's up, man?
Zadi.
How y'all doing?
Yeah, how you doing?
Man, I just got a couple like things that I need to say about the team. First off, Woodby, Warner, they weak links in our defense, man.
Hey, you ain't got. I'm with you on Warner, man. God,
I just said if I don't see 35 again, my life is better for it.
Warner is
got no type of.
I could deal with Rice. And I like Steven Diggs Jr. I think that's a fair linebacker core with Gainer coming off the edge, but I'm saying with the scheme full of run, which I don't really like that. I think it's too many holes in the defense. Oof. But yeah, I just think it's too many holes. He make the corners play off and everything. It's just, but with the scheme he run, Warner can't be out there. He don't stop the run. He don't pressure the quarterback. Can't cover.
What scheme he ran? Warner don't need to be out there.
Yeah, he did. It seemed like he just run into linemen. Like he just running straight into the D lineman or the O line.
So did y'all see the goal line play where everything's set up perfectly? There's the gap. 35's got to fill it. He runs opposite side, and the running back runs right to the end zone.
They run straight. They run straight past him. They run straight past him all the time.
Who's starting for you at quarterback this week?
That's tough. I think
I know, but
this is what I think. Y'all might not like me for this, but this is what I think, man. I think you do start Blackman. See what he got first. See what he got at the first script. Okay. But I do think you play all your quarterbacks, even though state is not ACC competition. So I do feel like you do get your younger quarterbacks some run just so they can get that college feel, and then you know what you got going forward. That's my opinion, but still, even Blackman, he ain't been playing well, but his receiver core, they haven't been showing up either.
Yeah, he's not got a lot of help.
His receiving core has been.
Yeah, I'm not dismissing.
I just think his receiving core, they don't get open. Warren Thompson can't catch a pass in traffic as big as he is. I just don't think he gets no help from his receiving core, which make it worse. You know, last year it seemed better, but that's because Browns got the ball out of his hand a lot quicker than they do now. But we either gotta go with. I like the kid 48 from what I've seen, and the Miami game.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this game?
He got the back shoulder. I mean,
you nervous about it? Think we win? What's going on?
I'm confident we're gonna win. I just wanted to see a blowout. Like if I see a blowout, I have a lot more confidence in the team. But then again, I feel like we're gonna struggle. So it's kind of I got a mix feel about this game as a whole. I just want to see a blowout. I want to see us dominate, even though it's Jacksonville State. I just want to see us dominate for once, like just dominate, so we can get some kind of confidence going in.
So asking for a friend of mine, do you think Florida State can win by more than 26.5 points or not?
I think that answers everything.
He didn't want to answer, right?
If the defense can get some stops, I think they could.
That's my. So I have a question for you guys. Trivia question of the night. Between Miami and Georgia Tech, they have had 28 drives against Florida State's defense. How many 3-and-outs do you think the defense has had so far this year?
None.
Probably none.
Yeah, my guess was going to be one. But go ahead.
Zero 3-and-outs in 28 drives. That's inexcusable. That's on Adam Fuller. Like, I'm all for the players deserve their win. But what are you doing, Adam Fuller?
And what I see when I'm watching the defense is it's not like teams is really dialing up like you could say, oh, that's a good play. That's a good play. They just be dinking and dunking. They way down the field on third. Yeah. They get in 35 and they do a nice talk. That's why I'm not a big fan of this team. The corners is off when they should just before the state, man, play man up, be physical at the line, and just bump and run, just like we've been doing for years.
Well, if you can't play man against Jacksonville State, right? Like, you know, if you're worried about Miami's talent out wide or King running, so you need guys in zone in case he like I can kind of understand there. But if you can't man up and play defense on Jacksonville State's wide receivers, I mean, just throw in the rest of the season, bro. Like, let's just move on. I'm not trying to give anybody a pass for Miami. None of that. Like, I kind of get it, right? Like, their talent matches our talent on the back end. King runs the ball. But, like, man, if we don't play some man defense on Jacksonville State, well, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a big problem.
So that's my thoughts, man. It gets to the point where
I realized
if, like, through 2 weeks, I mean, and I also understand that man, they are on it. Again, let's go to the juniors, not the seniors. They had Harlan Barnett his first year. Next year, they had Harlan Barnett, and then they brought Jim Leavitt in to correct Harlan Barnett. So you have an analyst that's essentially your de facto defensive coordinator. And now they have a new defensive coordinator in Adam Fuller, who I believe in. I thought he did a good job at Marshall and Memphis, and it's just not there. I think these players, they are thinking way too much. They've lost their instincts to an extent, to the point where they can't use their athleticism because they don't look like elite athletes, but we know for the most part, a lot of these guys are. They're just thinking way too much, man. What are you thinking? This is my Zooms girl. Shay, that's you.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
He told us his name. I just couldn't hear him.
I know.
I put your name on there. I put it. This is my girl's Zoom. That's what you had said. But no, I don't know. I mean, it's got to get better, right? Like I mean, it can't get worse, you know. So I mean, we'll see.
I hope not.
What you got as our final record this year, man?
Yeah, good question.
Final record. If we win this game, and I think we'll wake up. Like last year, we woke up for teams like Wake Forest, Virginia. We just didn't finish. I think we'll wake up for like, you know, Louisville. Get about 5. If we improve, we get about 5 or 6.
I think
improve. That's just Louisville. That's if we wake up though. Because Georgia Tech should have been a win.
Yeah, I think 5 wins would be massive for
Jeff Sims. He ain't looked good since he played us.
All he's doing is throwing to the other team.
I mean, he did that to us too, bro. I mean, for the first half, but then he stopped second half. It kind of was bad.
Yeah.
Hey, but if you want to see a blowout, I mean, if you really want to see a blowout, my Lakers play about an hour from the crib tomorrow night, so you can just watch them beat the hell out of Miami again tomorrow night, and we can all just celebrate the King getting his 4th title. So, with the 3rd different franchise. So anyway, all right. Thanks for hanging out, man. We got another caller, and we're gonna get out of here. But I appreciate your support. And thanks for hanging out.
All right, man. No problem, man.
We gotta get to over under 2, so we gotta make this kind of quick.
We've been saying that with every caller that calls in, and then we keep them on for like 10 minutes. But I mean, I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, they're playing 10 minutes from my house, and I haven't watched a single minute of the NBA Finals, and I probably won't. But I will turn on the ring ceremony once the Heat or the Lakers clinch it. I gotta watch this presentation or trophy presentation live, man. That's gonna be special.
Dude, when LeBron holds up that trophy and says this is for Kobe, like I think I'm just gonna break down crying. So
I'm probably gonna cry. My wife is gonna cry, but hey, welcome to the crying podcast, Tevin.
Tev, you big Lakers fan too? What's going on with you?
Yeah, Big Brun.
Let's go. That's we don't want to talk about FSU.
Freddie, no.
Yeah, he Brian up.
We don't want to talk about FSU. We just want to talk about the NBA Finals. Man. So, are we sweeping them, or are we going to be gentlemen on this?
After last night, it looked like it's going to be a sweep.
I've heard Bam might not play again on Game 2.
Oh, they definitely.
Oh, really?
If the Lakers win Game 2, it's definitely sweep.
That's ball game.
Yeah, I hope Bam does play. It looks like Dragic is probably out too, but I hope Bam does play because I don't want to beat them with all their guys hurt. That's boring, like.
No, but for Bron.
Sound good to me when I'm putting that money into them games.
right.
So, all right, man. We'll talk a little Florida State, bro. I know that's what you called in for. But what are your thoughts, man? Who's starting at QB? How you
let it be Blackman? That's all I want. I don't want to see Blackman out there. I don't want to see Leonard Warner out there. What's the defensive tackle that was 0? I definitely don't want to see him out there. He get blew off the ball every time. I don't want to see J-Rob out there. He's so sorry. Man, I don't even want to see Whitby out there, to be honest, because Whitby ain't it no more. It's a lot of guys I don't want to see out there, to be honest.
Who you gonna put in there for him?
Man, listen, I like Travis J. Nazardine should be back this week. We Big Country put Big Country in there. I definitely don't want to see 30. I definitely don't want to see 30 at the end because we already don't got no pass rush. That's the biggest thing about our defense. We ain't got no pass rush. So we ain't got no pass. Only guy that really make a pass rush is Gainer. Gainer our best defender.
So I think we need to bring and this sounds crazy. It sounds like, my wild mind when I'm playing, NCAA 14 or Madden, you need to bring 5 or 6 every single play and trust these defensive backs. We know Asante Samuel is a lockdown corner. So half the field is shut down. If you can't trust the other half of your defensive backs, then we're in trouble anyway. Bring some pressure, make the quarterback make a decision, and let's see what happens. Because right now we're sitting back, giving up 3 to 4 to 5 yard, find the soft spot in the zone and sit down, and we'll run a 13-play drive on the first drive. We'll run a 17-play drive on the second drive. That's what Miami did. Go aggressive. If you get burnt and beat for a deep touchdown, but you're being aggressive, that's fine with me. I cannot sit on my couch for 9 more blitz everybody. We only have, I think, 1 sack on the season, and the defensive lineman has not contributed to that at all. I am so done with this. Switch it up. Adam Fuller, I said a few minutes ago, he's on my hot seat. He needs to switch things up. And not like he did against Miami, because that did not work at all.
Man, listen, when I knew we was gonna lose the Miami game, but I ain't know we was gonna lose in that fashion. It's the fashion we lost. I'm watching the game and I'm talking to Freddie, and we were like, bro, they scored on their first 3 drives, bro. They scored on, they keep throwing one out there in coverage like he all world or something out there. Then they throw J-Rob in coverage. I'm like, what is he doing? What is Fuller out here doing? Yeah. And why did we run a 3-4 last week? I thought we was
said, and I've seen the tweets on the timeline, and I'm not taking any blame away from Fuller, but I'm adding some to guys like Wilson and Kando in that defensive line because they're getting pushed back every play. I don't care how bad the scheme is. When you're a defensive lineman that they talked about going to the first round, and you get no push. Has Marvin Wilson been on the field minus the 15-yard penalty? Like, what has he been doing? That scheme, I understand, but I'm going to add some blame to that defensive line because that has been terrible through 120 minutes of football.
So for me, the 2 most disappointing things, Adam Fuller, the cushion we give defensive backs or the receivers, and Marvin Wilson's got to be my second most disappointing guy because here's the guy, he could have gone in the first or second round in the draft this year if he wanted to, but he wanted to come back to improve his stock, be a top 15 pick. And I still think he has that capability, but he's not showing it through 2 games. Where has he been? Like you said, he's getting pushed back. His best plays, he's, playing a stalemate with the guy in front of him, not even getting double teamed. I still think he has it in him because, and TJ, you mentioned the targeting foul, that's not on Marvin though, man. That in the fact, I'm pretty sure he's 17 yards downfield when he made that tackle. So for a defensive tackle to get that far downfield and make a play, awesome. That makes it okay. Like I know Marv won't be a part of the solution in the next few years, but I'm still good with him playing because he clearly does care. And I don't know how many players on this team truly do care like he does right now. I think that's the biggest problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't care. I'm just not seeing
Oh,
anything
no, yeah.
out of him, right? Like he's just
Great. Yeah, he's played average. He's average.
I mean, it would
he's
be
killing
like
his truck.
Yeah, I've been who even besides your Australian punter, who's been average on this?
Yeah, Freddie, who do you think? Because I agree, Gaynor. Man, that guy.
That's what I'm rolling with. Whenever
we need 10 more of him on defense.
Gaynor shines on the field. Like it feels kind of like how we felt in high school. I played with Tevin in high school, and we had a trash team, and I always was got, oh man, y'all got blew out, but you balled. Like that's how I feel about Mari Gaynor right now. Like he's balling. But we got other guys that are stepping up. They're getting completely blown off the ball, and they're supposed to be our dogs. And these are the guys we're supposed to look up to, and they're getting blown off the ball every play. They do a lot of talking, but when I cut on that film, I'm seeing it over and over again. I don't really want to hear what you're saying. I'm watching you.
Yeah, I hear you, Freddie. That's so.
Listen, I'll be like, man, I'll be watching the game. I watch the D line because I'll be like, all right, let's see what they're gonna do. Every time they get pushed 5 yards back, I'll be like,
yeah,
I know. Do we got an All-American on our D-line? I thought we had an All-American on our D-line or something.
No, we do not. No, we do not.
My issue with the D-line is, even though I play offense, I think the entire identity of your team is off your D-line. If you have a soft D-line, nobody's going to respect you. When the team comes out there in Miami seeing that they can push us off the ball, man, they knew they could do whatever they wanted to do.
Whatever they wanted to do.
Whatever they wanted to do.
Because it's to me, and when the last time we recruited some DNs, because it seemed like we ain't had a pass rush in like 4 or 5 years. Since Burns been gone, we ain't had a pass rush.
We don't. That's why I said you need to bring 5 or 6 every single play. And if you give up a 15, 20, 30-yard pass at that point, so be it. Because if you don't give it up in one play, you're going to give it up in the next 5 at this point.
Right.
So do something different. So if Adam Fuller, like he's my biggest disappointment. I hate to be that guy. I'm giving Mike Norvell somewhat of a pass. He deserves a lot of blame, but obviously he wasn't there for Miami. He couldn't call the plays. That's why I said a little bit ago, man, Tevin, I said, we need to split this into 2 seasons. After UNC is, season number 2, so to speak, for us, because if we don't see any growth from there, man, it's going to be a long few years for Florida State fans because we can't afford to fire Mike. And if he's not showing progress, we have no hope. But if he does show that progress, you can kind of sell that on the recruiting show this year, not to a top 15 class type level, but you can kind of sell it. But the next year you go out and you win 7-8 games. You say, hey, look, you saw what it looked like in my first few games. You saw where we're at now. Mm-hmm. You can be part of the solution and get us to a BCS bowl in the future. Not everybody's as spoiled as Freddie is playing in, a national title, a playoff, and 2 other, NY6 bowls. But you can sell that to high school kids who just want a chance. So you need to show progress. But man, I'm not out on the team this year after 2 weeks, and I won't be out on them no matter what happens next week. But like I said, that second half of the season for me is the biggest thing. Like, show improvement, have a winning record in the second half of the season, and look like you know what you're doing. And I think that's huge progress. And that sucks for Florida State fans because we're used to BCS, NY6 national championships, but that's not what we're going to get this year. Not even
play.
Yeah.
Against Georgia Tech for sure. I agree with that. Like Miami's kind of a wash, right? Like there's nothing redeeming from that game, but the Georgia Tech game, we were in position to make plays and didn't make them. Right. And so, we catch, I hate to play the F game, but yeah, you're totally right. Tab, man, thanks for hanging out. We got to jump out of here, man. We got to do.
Before you check off, kind of touch on what Richie said. Bringing those blitzes. I think when you're around elite defensive coordinators, those guys, I think Fuller is giving these teams too much credit before even attacking them. Like, we're playing too passive from the jump. When you're around these elite defensive coordinators, it's like, man, let's see how these guys handle blitzes. Let's see if their backs can hold up in protection and how these offensive linemen pass off blitzes. From the first snap of the game, we were just playing passive. That's a formula. That's a formula for failure. You don't know if and they had young backs, a lot of pass rush, and we got to attack the offense, see if these guys can pass protect. We don't know. Let's find out.
Yeah. Them all facts, though. He said no pressure. You just sit back. Let him scan the field all day. Now you got 500 passing yards on our head and 52. Now it's 52-10.
Hey, we were better than LSU this week, right?
Oh yeah,
No.
they gave up by Sam Hunney.
Yeah, they
No,
gave
the-
600 passing yards, man.
Yeah, but at least they didn't get blown out, bro. Like I'll trade with LSU all day.
They're the first national champion to lose their opener the next year in like 30 years.
I would trade places with LSU immediately. If you would give me that.
Hell
If
yeah.
you would give I mean,
but come on. We're also at the lowest point in Florida State history
No,
in
that's what I'm saying.
our lifetime.
Oh,
Like,
Tab, we got to get out of here, man. My life
Appreciate
would
it,
kill
man.
me, but thanks for
Appreciate
hanging out,
y'all.
bro.
Yes, sir.
all right. Let's rapid fire this over on.
I got one question that has come in, and it was from our guy that won. We'll get to it next time. If you see Tater Chuba on Saturday and it looks serviceable, do they start against Notre Dame, or do you start James Blackman against Notre Dame regardless and allow him to get blasted rather than letting one of the freshmen get blasted? Thoughts on who starts against Notre Dame, or what has to happen? Maybe this is a better question. What has to happen for Blackman to start against Notre Dame, and what has to happen for like one of the new guys to start against Notre Dame?
I think this game, like one of the guys came on, he said thanks everybody get an opportunity to play. If that is the case, Blackman has completely balled out and by himself another week. That's just looking at it like the big dogs. You got to earn yourself another opportunity. If he earns himself another opportunity, he may be in a position to start against Notre Dame. But if he shows what we've been seeing the past few weeks, I just believe one of these young guys is going to get in and seize the opportunity, and we'll be looking at one of those guys getting an opportunity to play. And I'm rolling with Jordan Travis at this point. I just think Blackman, he doesn't really give us a chance to win. They're going to try to implement some things with Jordan, try to put him in there a bit, but I wouldn't roll Purdy out this early.
So
yeah, I like that. I think that's exactly right. Like whoever looks the best is going to get it. I mean, pretty simply.
So for my opinion, just go back to our previous show if you want to hear my thoughts on Blackman. Like I'm out. I'm not going to rehash that. There's no need to. We're going to hit this real quick next and rapid fire when our over under, but I don't think Blackman starts. I think it's going to be a road maker. I think Purdy, if he's healthy enough, gets a chance. Then I think you need to run him out here this week because you do not want Chuba Purdy's first snap to be against Notre Dame in South Bend. I know there's not going to be any fans there, but at the same time, Purdy needs to get out there and get game rapid fire. I truly think he's the best quarterback on our roster, and I don't think it's particularly close at all, to be honest. So I think he's our future. If he doesn't play this week, I would not expect him against Notre Dame because it'd be foolish to run him out there. I think you save him for the week later. So my thoughts, I mean, if Blackman starts, I think he's going to play well enough to keep his job for another week because it is Jacksonville State. I don't think he should start, and I don't think he does. Mike Norvell is a lot smarter than me when it comes to football. He gets paid a lot more money, so we'll see what he does.
I'm with it. What's rapid fire look like?
Took over. We all hit. Derek King, 289.5 yards. We all took the over. We all hit. Tamarian Terry, 5.5 catches. We all took the over. We all missed. FSU sacks allowed, 4.5. TJ and Freddie took the over. I took the under.
I won the week. So let's go.
TJ got 4. Freddie got 3. I got 2. So the season totals right now.
Guys, this before we move on. We did the weekly picks on the Big 3 roll up every week last week, and I won. So I legitimately got myself a trophy. It was like $20. And so I sent myself.
He used your Patreon money to make that for himself, guys.
That's right. I sure did. And let me tell you something. If I win this year, I'm gonna have another one to go right beside it. My wife thinks I'm the biggest idiot for having that, and I think it's hilarious. People come over like, "Oh, what'd you win?" And I was like, "Oh, it's like worthless."
I think Kara has a valid point, but
she's right.
So y'all ready to rapid fire this over under and call it a night?
Let's get it.
All right. So, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. 0.5 first drive of the game snaps for James Blackman. TJ, over under.
I'm going over. I think he takes a snap on the first drive.
Freddie?
Under.
I'm taking under as well.
Can I ask something to follow that up?
Yeah.
This is not on our official one, but I'm just asking on the side. Over under James Blackman snaps for the game, 0.5.
I'd say over.
Yeah, over.
Okay.
I think
I just want to see if you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
I just was curious. We're not counting that.
So this next one, and this is completely random because I don't know, but I really like this guy, and I'll go first. Lawrence Toafili, 13.5 touches for the game. I'm taking the over. I think he earned it. Freddie.
Yeah, I think he'll get a bigger role in this game, so I'm excited about it. I think he gets about 14, 15 touches.
All right. TJ?
I'll go. So,
all right. Next one, because we haven't seen it yet this year. Florida State sacks by defensive linemen over under 1.5. TJ.
My goodness.
They do not have one yet this year, but they should, in theory, dominate this offensive line.
Yeah, I should have dominated Georgia Tech's offensive line. I'll still take the over on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Freddie?
I mean, I'll take it.
I'll take over.
Yeah, I just think of Joshua Kando against, what was it, Delaware State? I think he had 4.5, 5 sacks. I think it's similar to that. So maybe I set it too low, but we'll take
I think I take the under at 2.5 though, just to let you know. But go ahead.
Really?
Let's keep it at 1.5.
So this next one, and we talked about it earlier. So between Miami and Georgia Tech, they had 28 offensive drives. We are yet to see a 3 and out from Florida State's defense. So we'll start with TJ, over under 2.5 3 and outs for Florida State's defense this week.
Under.
All right. Freddie?
I'll take the under too.
I'm going to take the over. It's got to,
because you want to get farther behind.
And our Bovada took the line off the book when 5.5 points, Florida State. TJ.
Over.
Freddie?
35.5.
Yep.
I'll say under.
Under. I'm taking the over as well. And we'll go from there. And I guess from there, do we want to go right into our score predictions, guys?
Yeah, I have absolutely nothing to base this on. I really thought that I predicted the Miami game well. The one that I thought was going to happen. Like the one that, like, if I'm basing it on what I've seen, this one, and, you know, if somehow miraculously we've made corrections, the closer one. So I felt like I had a pretty good read on the Miami game. I have no read on this at all. So 38 to 13. 38-13.
38-13. Does that match up with your spread predictions?
38 to 13, 25. 38 to
no,
10.
it doesn't match up because you picked them to cover.
Well, that means I got to get one of them right. So
38-10.
41 to
TJ, killing me, man.
41 to 13. Sorry.
Freddie, where you at?
I'll say 31 to 17.
31-17. That's probably the closest. I'm a little man, I did take the Jacksonville State to cover the spread. I'm gonna go 41 to 17. It should be less than 10 for Jacksonville State. I don't trust the defense. I almost went 41-20. Either way, I have Jacksonville State covering the spread. Florida State's offense does come to life a little bit and score some points. We might even see like a Travis J punt return for a touchdown. But yeah, I don't see us covering. But if I'll say this, if it's like 31,
you've got us just barely not covering, right? You've got us not covering by 3 points.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, there's gamesmanship and stuff from this standpoint. But at the same time, man, I don't trust the defense. If I trusted the defense, if the defense was what I thought they were heading into game one, where they are now, I would take that spread all day, every day. Because I do think the offense gets rolling this week. I think Mike Norvell makes the necessary changes. I don't think we see a lot of James Blackman. I think we're gonna see a lot of Jordan Travis running the ball. We're gonna see some wild Corbin, whatever you want to call it. I think we're gonna score some points, but I think we're going to be disappointed in the defensive performance overall.
Well, being disappointed is not anything different than what I've felt the entire year. So, for the last 3 years. So I'm ripe for the disappointment.
Ever since Freddie left, can we send him back to Florida? Freddie, you got any eligibility left? Or are you done? You used them all up. I don't even Jameis. Give me Everett back.
Now we'll answer that because somebody did ask it. Actually, I just saw it on the timeline. You get real quick. You don't have to give an explanation. You get one player to bring back for the all-time FSU to bring back for this team. Who is it?
For this team?
Charlie Ward.
You don't need explanation because we understand why.
Yeah. Charlie Ward. Mobile quarterback behind a bad offensive line, but still a great thrower.
Put somebody on the defense right now. I was thinking defense, but it went
Jameis because the obvious pick. But I might go Dalvin. I mean, he ran behind awful offensive lines for years and years and years.
Yeah, but he had a really good fullback. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, he was a fullback no more, man.
I'll still go down. Sorry, Freddie, but maybe Marvin can lead block. So
because he can't play defensive tackle.
Jameis is my pick, but I'm probably leaning Dalvin if not him. So, all right. Anyway, we will do a reaction show this week.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we get blown out, because then I'm just gonna go jump off the Skyway. So like,
no, at that point, I'm doing a reaction show, and it will be my resignation from all of you guys. Like I'm done.
So
like
we will do a reaction. We will do a reaction show. We'll be in the Discord chat this week. Go to patreon.com/doublefriespod. Like, share, rate, review. If you watch this live on Facebook, if you're still hanging out with us or you're on Periscope or whatever, go to your iTunes app on your phone and rate us 5 stars if you could. There's really not a great way for you to do that if you're not on iTunes. So if you don't have an iPhone, then upgrade your life and get one. Could win. Appreciate everybody's support. Appreciate you guys for hanging out for these couple of hours here on this Thursday night. Take some calls, answer some questions, and trying to get ready for our first win of the year. Right? This time in 48 hours, we will be 1-2. So, man, I'm praying that that's right. So
we don't need to go there. That random thought.
When did that win in 2017 happen? When did that win in 2017? Wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't a delayed season, so I think it was.
We did delay it by a week though, or we had a game delayed by a week. We lost Alabama, then we had the week delayed because of the hurricane. Then we lost to NC State.
But I still think it was before October.
It could have been.
We've never not won a game in September in my life. I don't think.
So. That's scary. So, I haven't picked a song in like 2 months, so I don't know what I'm going to pick.
Got it. Go for it, TJ.
But. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be.
No, I'm going to put you on the spot that me and Freddie feel. You got to tell us right now. What's it going to be?
Oh, man. All right, well, I can do that. I just got to look at what I'm doing.
I think Philly has a really big game, guys, by the way. He can't do 20, 25 carries a game, but that guy's a player, and he looked like it last week.
How many touchdowns?
Well, we have 2 on the entire season through 8 quarters.
You just gave us 41 points.
Oh, you meant this week?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm like,
I was like, Doug,
I'll give him one. I'll give him one. I think he's electric, man. If he gets in the open field against a team like Jacksonville State, I think he can get there. I'm a big fan. I do think he's one of the few. While TJ thinks for a song,
I think getting him in the game would be big for us. Just the energy he brings and his blocks and making moves before they even got there. Like it was one play where the safety was coming from the right side and he hugged his tackle to the left, and as his receiver was leading up the field, he tried to hug that block, knowing that he was trying to get back to that right side. He hit it up, and then the guy came right back to where he wanted to get, so it wasn't that far away, that drastic of a cut he had to make.
You don't get that type of elite breakdown from a former running back at this level anywhere but from the Double Fries pod. But we have it here. And then with that, TJ, send us out, man. What are we going with?
Shout out my Lightning. We're going Thunderstruck. Man on this pod besides me and Freddie, who doesn't even watch it. Carrie Underwood came out with a Christmas album the other day. That just totally is not the vibe, but it's October. We're getting pretty close to Christmas. So I almost went with a Carrie Underwood, like Silent Night or something for y'all, but I went with Thunder.